The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 273. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend, welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is a relationship and dating coach, and I'm just really glad to have her on so she can share her story and tips on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Cindy Leong. Cindy, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Hello everyone, I'm Cindy Leong. I'm based in Singapore and I'm running the relationship studio as well as Divine Connect, a dating agency in Singapore which does date coaching as well as matching for our clients.
Awesome, well thanks for sharing that. And what's your cultural background?
I grew up in Singapore. Grew up here, made here. So I've always been in Singapore, but I have studied in Taiwan for a year during my uni days. And I've always been interested in marketing as well as psychology. So that was my background. I grew up in a simple, typical Asian family.
Thanks for sharing that, Cindy. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
Favorite self-confidence quote? I think it's always about believing in yourself. So when I went to church when I was 15 years old. The very first verse is about having confidence in yourself and having confidence in God. So many a times we try to do as much as we can and we try to do things to the best of our abilities. So as part of it, you also have to have faith in something that is greater, that is looking after you. So doing your best. So do your best and leave God for the rest. So that is what I always believe in.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that quote. And what would be your definition of self-confidence?
Having self-confidence is also about self-love and finding your personal identity. Having coached a lot of clients that have confidence issue, we see that most of the time people try to get confidence from external factors like people around you, your family members, your colleagues, or having acquired a new skill, or it's all external. But I always believe that there's much more things internally which you can bring out, and that's uniquely yours, and you are special. You have some things that people don't have. And every time when I talk to every single individual, I realize that everyone has their different strengths, different things they can bring to the table, different passion, different purpose and calling in life, different motivation. So that in itself makes anyone special. So for me, the source of confidence is really to understand my personal identity and what I can bring to the table. And every single time when I meet someone, it is a special moment. It is a uniquely Cindy's moment, that this experience that you're having right now with me is not replaceable with anyone else. And I tell that to all of my clients that are looking for confidence, they're seeking confidence, because that in itself makes you special. And everyone that you meet, everyone that you talk to, you're making a difference in their lives. And that in itself makes you unique and makes you special. And that gives you the confidence because no one can replace you.
Thanks for sharing that definition. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I guess I was someone who has low self-esteem. And of course, when I grew up, of course, I learned that ladies tend to find their confidence and self-esteem from the men around them. And so when I was young, I guess I didn't have a lot of attention at home. So I try to go out and make friends and try to get attention from people around me or the people of the opposite gender. And that often gets me into all the wrong relationships. So that can be quite detrimental. So having been through that, I kind of hated myself for what I was doing, and I didn't like what I was doing actually. There was no purpose for, going around trying to get people to like you. So the first lesson when I learned after I had my, I call it a midlife crisis, even though I was only 15 then. It was a midlife crisis for me because I hated myself. I didn't like what I was doing. So I started seeking meaning and purpose for my life. And that was when I started to learn about self-love. And that was the first thing that I learned. Because if I'm not able to love myself, there's no way I can get anyone else to love me. Yeah. So that was the first lesson that I learned before I, regain my confidence and begin to build up my confidence, my self-esteem, my self-image. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think, also, growing up in an Asian culture, we've been programmed to just get married.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal is to get married, regardless of the situations. And sometimes that's not a good thing because we end up in situations that we can't get out of. We hear a lot of, abusive cases, men maltreating women, men sexually abusing them and, taking away all their money because they're the men and the women have no rights. And, it's just looking for love in all the wrong places. And, I always believe that when you start loving yourself, you can attract the right person into your life, whether it's a man or a woman. And, I like that you said even though you were 15, you're already at a midlife crisis. And,
yes.
and sometimes we have to go through these crises to realize our strength and what we can and what we're capable of. And because of that, what's your life been like now?
So I'm using my life story and my experience to help people that was in my position. So I do this with a lot of love and empathy because I always believe that, people do not behave the way they do for no specific reason, that if there is no cause for this action, why would they be doing that? So I'm always interested to find out why they do that. And I don't judge them. I speak with them with empathy. And I try to use my life stories to help them and inspire them so they feel that this person that they're talking to, is real. Like I am real. I've been through life. I have banged on the wall many times. I have been into bad relationship many times, lessons that I've learned. And I always tell them that the best lesson you can learn in life is to learn from someone else's mistakes. And I have made enough mistakes in the past when I was younger to be able to help them shorten their learning curve. So I find my life being very fulfilling and meaningful right now because I'm no longer afraid to talk about my past. I am not ashamed of my past. In fact, what I've done in the past or what I've gone through in the past have given me this capacity to empathize and to help other people and to share with them how I got out of whatever I've gone through, like my low self-esteem, my search for love, and all the mistakes that I used to make, like overcompensating in a relationship, sweeping problems under the carpet just because you don't want to deal with the conflict. So common mistakes that people make in a relationship and can be detrimental if you do not really make any adjustments. So I kind of share with them whatever that I've gone through, even when they share with me about their struggles, and I can understand and I can empathize. I'm not a coach. I'm not someone that, is sitting on the ivory tower and looking down and you see life has been great for me and I've been a greenhouse rose and I've gone through nothing much. Life has been a breeze and therefore I'm in this better position to coach you guys. I'm not in that position. I was in a bad position and I was, maybe abandoned. I felt ashamed of myself. There were times where I feel low self-esteem. I've been to the lowest point in my life. I failed in relationships and then I got up again. So I feel really very blessed to be in this position that I can serve the people around me with my past, with my life experience, with my understanding for human behavior, and my background in psychology, having made a lot of clarity for my clients, even for myself. So many a times when I coach my clients or I talk to people, I begin to feel even more thankful for what I have right now. So so having regained my confidence and all has empowered me to empower others as well.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's always great when you can go out there and be the change you want to see in the world. So congrats to that. And to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
one main advice to be giving to the ladies, first thing first, you have to discover yourself. You have to have your own life. You have to know what you like. Basically, it's self-love. You have to go on a self-love journey to discover what you can bring to the table and to see that you make a positive impact in the lives of people around you. And you are uniquely you. There's no one else that can replace you. No one else laugh the same way you do. No one else tell jokes the same way you do. No one else, talk and think the same way that you do. You're just unique. So you have to begin to see that this is something that is not replaceable, and you're just created this way, and you're created unique. And when you see that part of you, and you begin to have this very strong concept of your identity, you will begin to really flourish. And then you see what you can bring to the table, and that will really change your life, because you stop looking at what you don't have. You stop looking at what's lacking, but you look at what you already have. You are already blessed with. You are already you have already achieved what you have already overcome. And when you look at all these things, you will be very thankful of what you already have, and that will give you that kind of positive energy to draw positive people to you, and you can start to be confident of yourself.
Thanks for those amazing tips. And Cindy, if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, you could connect me on LinkedIn, so you can search for Cindy Leong, or you can also visit my website, which is relationshipstudio.com. And divineconnect.com.sg. So any of this website, you can connect to me, and you can drop me an email, coffee@relationshipstudio.com.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Cindy, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Cindy's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Cindy for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Sheena, for having me here.
Not a problem. It was an honor to have you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll catch you later. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free audiobook by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.